Welcome to the MindView 4 Creating Business Plans tutorial. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to write an effective business plan using MindView, which is a mind mapping application helping you to write the plan and implement that plan successfully. With one-click exports, MindView allows you to convert your mind map to a Microsoft Word document, PowerPoint presentation, or a timeline. Word and PowerPoint will help you to present your plan information, while the timeline will help you schedule and implement each individual stage. There are 3 steps in creating a business plan using MindView. Step 1 is to brainstorm and outline your topics. Step 2 is to present and communicate those topics effectively. Step 3 is to schedule and implement. Let's begin with Step 1, brainstorming the outline. We'll start by giving the subject a title, Business Plan. This tutorial assumes that you've watched the Quick Start video for MindView, so in order to create branches and sub-branches for this specific example, I will be using Enter and Insert on my keyboard. I'll begin by creating my first main branch, Phase 1 Strategic Plan. By left-clicking the root, I will hit Enter and type my text. I'll then hit Enter one time to deselect, Enter again to create my second main branch, Phase 2. Again, Enter 2 times, Phase 3, and finalize with Phase 4. Now to create my first sub-branch, I'm going to left-click Phase 1 Strategic Plan. This time I will hit Insert on my keyboard, and I will type Define the Opportunity. Enter one time to deselect, Enter again to create my second sub-branch, Revenue Projections. Now, in order to speed this tutorial up, I'm going to be working off of a template file that I've created, which just expands on the topics for the business plan. As you can see, my 4 main phases, as well as the sub-branches, are created, outlining my business plan steps. As you can see, mind mapping is an effective way to outline and present overview information of a business plan or marketing strategy. This is extremely useful in meetings, as an invaluable way to capture ideas, visualize concepts, and facilitate collaboration. Now let's continue with the next stages of our business plan. As MindView is a drag-and-drop program, if I need to reorganize any of these different stages, I can easily left-click and rearrange those topics within their list, or move a branch to a new location, creating sub-branches or sub-branch structures. Using MindView's simple-to-use interface and ribbon system, we can start adding content to our business plan. In this case, I'm going to left-click Define the Opportunity, and I'd like to activate our text note editor and enter some text information to specifically explain and define the opportunity. By left-clicking the text note editor is launched, and I have the ability to freely type information into the text note editor as I would in Microsoft Word. Now that I've entered my text information for the Define the Opportunity branch, I will close the text note editor. By zooming in on Phase 1 Strategic Plan, you can now see that there has been an attachment icon shown on the Define the Opportunity branch. By hovering the icon and left-clicking the attachment note, I can view that text note information, and I can have as many text notes per branch as I'd like. Continuing with our tutorial, let's assume that we actually have some finalized documentation that we'd like to attach to the branch. In this case, branch number 2 for Strategic Plan are Revenue Projections. I have an Excel spreadsheet that defines those projections, and I can attach that to the branch by left-clicking the attachment icon from the ribbon, browsing on my computer for the file that I'd like to include, selecting that file, and choosing Open. As you saw with the text note, I can still hover this paperclip attachment, and I can choose to left-click and activate the attached Excel spreadsheet. As you can see, by creating an interactive mind map with easy-to-follow branches and structure, being able to attach text notes, completed documentation, and many other type of attached informational files, we can create an interactive mind map, ensuring insightful decision-making and successful strategizing. Mind mapping, by definition, is a very visual concept using colors and images. MindView allows you to customize the mind map using images, color schemes, and branch shapes very easily. For this example, I will open up our multimedia catalog, and I'll choose to enter some visual images from our catalog. In this case, I'm under the Work Environment section. I'd like to go ahead and choose one of the images that I'd like to add. If I find an image I'd like to use, I left-click, drag, and drop that image right onto my desired branch. If I'd like to insert my own custom image into the mind map, I can simply close the multimedia catalog. I can choose my desired branch, and from the ribbon, I choose Branch Picture. I navigate on my computer for the image I'd like to use, choose that image, and choose Open. As you can see, using visual imagery allows you to easily dictate topics, showing visual cues, which assists in memory retention, recall, and understanding of topics. MindView also allows you to change the look and feel of your mind map and its branches. If I choose the Design tab, I could swap between several different layouts, utilizing our left to right, right to left, organizational chart, or our top-down view. Combining that with the different styles, I can customize the way I'd like my mind map to be represented. As you can see, I've clearly defined a new layout and a new style. If I'd like to then change the color scheme of my individual branches, I can do so by selecting a branch, and under the Format tab, I can define a specific branch color, I can define a specific branch shape, as well as change fill color, outline styles, and so on. As this is just another working view in MindView, I can still have access to my attachments, and I still create branches and sub-branches in the same format using the ribbon. To ensure understanding of this tutorial, I will continue to create the rest of this plan in the MindView Mind Map view. We've now completed step 1 of our 3-step process, brainstorm and outline. We've also added some multimedia content as well as some pictures. The next step is to present and communicate this information. That can be done by exporting our MindView file to Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, or as a PDF file. To illustrate this concept, I will turn on what's called the numbering scheme. The numbering scheme allows me to visually define our hierarchy. In this case, it's a radial hierarchy starting at 1 o'clock with phase 1. We would then go down to 1.1, 1.2, and so on around the clock. This is an important concept to grasp because this is how MindView correctly exports to Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and so on, where phase 1 would be the first chapter of my Word document or slide in my PowerPoint presentation. Whatever is attached to the branch, an image, a text note, an attachment, will show up in that respective section or slide in my export. Let's export this document to Microsoft Word. I'll choose the MindView icon. I will choose Export. I'll choose Microsoft Word, and I'll choose Advanced Word Export. By selecting Advanced Word Export, I can clearly define the template that I'd like to use. I can determine what I'd like included in the export, an image of the mind map, a table of contents, and any of the content that we attach to the branches. If I would like to not include an object, I simply uncheck that object. I will then choose Export, save my file, and we can now view that export as a Microsoft Word document with the visual image of the mind map, the table of contents built on that radial hierarchy, individual chapters and subchapters, and I can control-click and jump right to specific sections where we see the strategic plan with the image, the text note information we included, and the link to the Excel spreadsheet. Each branch has its own specific section in the Word document, and I can freely type information or alter content in my Word export. I can change categories, and I can save that file and choose to import that file back into MindView, updating the mind map branches with any changes that I made in that exported Word document. So each export from MindView is also an import, increasing collaboration and group use throughout your organization or school. If you then wanted to convert this MindView document into a PowerPoint presentation, each branch getting its own slide, you'd follow the same steps. Select the MindView icon, select Export, choose Microsoft PowerPoint, and choose the Advanced PowerPoint Export. Following the same steps, I choose a defined layout style or template, determine what I want included in the export, and I simply choose Export. As you can see, MindView has converted my MindView document into a PowerPoint presentation with my main summary slide, my 4 main phases, and as I move down the list, phase 1 becomes my next slide. My bullet point list, as well as my images, the copy and pasted text that I included in the text note editor, as well as the linked Excel spreadsheet that I attached to that particular branch. As I move through the slide sorter list, you see an individual slide for each branch that I had in my MindView document. As with Microsoft Word, if I need to make any changes to a slide, if I needed to rename, add, or delete content, I can freely do that in PowerPoint, save that file, and then simply import that PowerPoint presentation back into MindView, updating the specific branch that I made the change in the exported Microsoft PowerPoint document. We've now completed step 2 of the 3-step process, present and communicate. Step 3 is now to schedule and implement. MindView allows you to do scheduling and implementation using our timeline function. If you have the business edition, you can also utilize an interactive Gantt chart, and that will be demonstrated in another tutorial. For this tutorial, we're going to utilize the timeline feature. I do that by choosing the Task and Timeline Info tab on the right, and I choose Timeline. To define a specific topic or date range, I simply left-click a branch and enter the start time or end time in the field to the right. In this case, I will choose a start time for phase 1, January 2011, and we'll start on the first working day. As you can see, we could also choose hours, minutes, seconds, and AM and PM settings. I will also give it an end time, choosing the month January, and putting it towards the last working day of the month. You would simply then continue on the branches, doing your scheduling information accordingly. Once you've entered all of your date information, you could choose to visually show that information on the branch by right-clicking on your desired branch, choosing Show Branch Data, and choose Start and End Time. If I wanted to show the branch information on all branches at the same time, I would simply go to View, I would choose Show Branch Data, and I would choose Start and End Time. As you can see, we now have our business plan with our topics, our categories, our dates, our attachments, and we've truly created our 3-step process. The next step is simply to display this as a timeline. To display this information as a timeline, under the View tab, I simply select Timeline. The timeline view is launched with a timeline outline on the left and the timeline itself on the right. This is just another working view in MindView. I still have access to insert branches and multimedia content. I have access to my branch attachments, as well as my branch images. I can enter my start and end date information in this view if I'd like as well. As I view in the timeline, you can see my individual branches with the corresponding date information. And by selecting the Design tab, I can choose different look and feel, styles of my timeline itself. I can also choose to change color schemes, defining my timeline as I see fit. If you'd like to then present this information visually, I could choose our print view by simply choosing the MindView icon, choosing Print, choosing landscape, and if this timeline doesn't fit on one page, I can simply spread the page over 2 or 3 pages. 16 by 16 is the maximum. Hit fit to page, and simply print this information out off of a normal desktop printer. If I have access to a large plotter printer, under my print setup, I can choose that specific printer. Now, one of the main advantages of MindView, again, are the different views and the different ways to export. Now that I've included date and time information, I could choose to swap this back into the mind map view if I'd like, and I can also re-export this out to Word, including that date information. Following the same steps, I choose Export, I choose Microsoft Word, and I choose Advanced Works Export. Choose the same template, but under General, this time I'm going to choose to include dates, and I'll choose Export and overwrite the existing file. Now as I view my Word document and I scroll through the different sections, you can see my date information has been added, formatted nicely on the main topic and subtopic levels. In closing, we've demonstrated that MindView is an extremely powerful and robust tool for creating business plans. The 3 simple steps, brainstorming and outlining, presenting and communicating, and scheduling and implementing, you can see that MindView walks you through the stages of a true business plan. The branch structures, the integration with Microsoft Office, and the ability to attach multimedia content truly proves that MindView is the best application for creating an effective business plan. For more information, please check our other helpful tutorials at MatchWare.com.